Mr. FLEGO, you have a report on protection of media freedom in Europe, which is discussed in Parliamentary Assembly's winter session. So could you please explain us the concerns in front of the media freedom in Europe?
These reports became almost traditional. We submit them biannually. So this is the third one. And if we follow the results of each of the researchers that we then put in the report, we could say that the situation is worsening in our member states. There are ever more attempts, at least, to influence the media. There are always more intimidations of journalists. And in the last 2 years, more than 30 journalists have been killed. We stated that there is a very direct connection between democracy and freedom of the media, that media are not able to be free if journalists are not free. Then the journalists couldn't be free if they are not secure. And in this chain we went further, stating namely that freedom of journalists is something that every state is obliged to protect, and particularly after Charlie Hebdo, to pay a particular attention to this. Because if there wouldn't be free journalists and free media, there wouldn't be democracy, there wouldn't be freedom, and who knows how our lives would look like.
Yeah, and what should have done to promote media freedom in Europe, especially in your report? What are the recommendations to the member states to protect their journalists' security and media freedom?
It seems to me that there are two. The one is that at the national level, the national parliaments get suggestion and some kind of obligation to organize a public debate together with journalists and parliamentarians about the state of the media freedom in particular country. And then at the level of the international cooperation, there is established platform-based, internet-based platform for media freedom and journalists, which will be organized together with 6 or 7 international journalist organizations. So that we would know relatively quickly about the violation of media freedom and media rights. Secondly, that after the information there would be some action. But what we would like to achieve is to call to cooperation all journalists and journalist organizations, and to be much more preventive than sanitary. We would like to hear whether there is some uncomfortable or even bad act proposal at the front of the parliament, so that we could act in preventing something bad happening. And then we would also like to be a force which would, the place at which there would be information about all, not only violations, but also some best practices, so that one could see, clicking by the mouse, what is going on in the media, in the media area, at least in the member states.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. FLEGO.
You're welcome.